What's up, y'all? This is Brave, and I'm back for a new show to review. That is The Bold and Bougie. Y'all, this is season 1, episode 1, and the episode is titled, Let Me Reintroduce Myself. Baby, let's get right into this review because I have a lot to say about some of these people. Alright, so we actually first start this show off meeting Gaucher, and first things first, I was like, that's kind of interesting that the show decided to start with her. No disrespect to Gaucher at all, but usually when it's like the first season, shows usually will go for like their most popular person to start with. But no, we are starting off with Gaucher. So, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Gaucher used to be on a reality show way back in the day about a hair salon. Was it Kim Kimball? Was Gaucher on there, you guys? Oh my gosh, what was that show called? LA Hair. That's it. I think it was called LA Hair. I feel like that's the first time that we saw Gaucher. I think she was on that show. And then I know that at one point she dated Lala's cousin Dice. So she was on the Lala show, was it Full Court Life or something like that, way back in the day? And now she's here. I want to say we may have seen her on Real Housewives of Atlanta as well. Let me tell you something. Gaucher is a mover and shaker when it comes to a person in Atlanta, okay? One thing that I will say about her is that she's about her business. And that is one thing that I noticed on this show and even on the shows before. Because every time you will see Gaucher, baby girl had a flat iron in her hand because what? She used to do hair. But baby, her life is booming because she has not only one restaurant, but she has 4, okay? And honestly, to see that she has made a transition from doing hair, and let's not forget, she had her own salon in Atlanta, and she was also doing celebrity clientele, okay? So Gaucher's been popping. But I'm just saying, like, for her to go from doing hair to starting a restaurant business, and for it to boom so well that she got to spring off 4 of them, that's really dope. Because we see how hard it is for a lot of these other reality stars to struggle with their one restaurant, Frost Bistro. But nonetheless, back to Gaucher, I feel like because they started with her, she may be like the nucleus of the show. Now, next thing you know, we see that she goes to see Crystal. Who is Crystal? Of course, it's Neo's ex. And baby girl surprised me because she was in the studio rapping. And when I tell you it was not good, it wasn't. She was rapping so hard with some basic rhymes. I'm like, Crystal, you might want to go back to the drawing board. But she has a whole stage name called VVS, as in the diamonds. And she says that rapping is her outlet. I'm just like, Crystal, you will do anything to not have a job. Like, no offense to her at all. I do not know Crystal like that. At all. Don't know the lady. So, I'm just saying that because when she got with Neo, right? We had no idea what she did. While she was with Neo, I don't think she ever had to work. So now that you're not with him, it does look interesting that now you want to rap. And I get it, being on social media, I'm not going to negate the fact that she has a whole restaurant. No, the girl, she does have businesses. I'm not knocking that. But it's just so strange to me that she wants to do this whole rap thing. Like, you would think that she would have tried to pursue something while she was with Neo. But now that I think about it, he may not have wanted her to do anything. Who knows what was really going on in that relationship. And hopefully she can use this show as an outlet to say what really went down. Because the only thing that we know is that he cheated, so that's why she ended the marriage. But I feel like there is a lot more to be said that happened in that relationship. Now, one thing that I do want to point out about this show is that I feel like a lot of the conversations are inauthentic. Because I'm not sure if these people have met before and they are like pretending to meet for the first time on camera, or if it's just that they don't know each other and this is the first time that they're meeting and they have nothing to talk about. It's very strange because the way the conversation went between Gaucher and Crystal, it was just kind of weird because Gaucher started to ask her, like, she's been dating or whatever. And Crystal was like, yeah, sort of, kind of. And then it jumped to Gaucher asking her, oh, would you ever date a woman? And I was like, okay, interesting. But Crystal was like, no. But then we go ahead and learn that Gaucher is actually married to a woman. Now, I already knew, of course, that she had been with women before because, like I said, she used to date Lala's cousin Dice. Come to find out, though, she is married to a woman. She has a whole wife, but her wife is not in the limelight. She likes to play the background. Now, I'm just curious, like, who is her wife? Anybody know? Drop down in the comments. But nonetheless, Crystal, she says that she's tried women before. It was her and two other girls. Now, y'all, if I can recall, didn't Crystal have like a flex tape that was going around? Because I feel like that was one of the things that was brought up and thrown in her face when she got with Neo. And honestly, I feel like I've seen that video before. Don't judge me. But nonetheless, she said that, threesomes is something that she would never introduce into her relationship and her marriage with Neo, right? Keep in mind, she said this because if you go back in time, y'all recall that when he was with Marietta, that was one thing that he requested constantly, and she didn't want to partake. I think she may have done like a few threesomes with him, but she no longer wanted to partake in those activities. So they ended up breaking up, and y'all already know how that went. Now, again, Marietta is another person who I feel like, has she told her whole story on a reality show yet? Maybe she was on one of those, like, First Wife Clubs shows. Not First Wife Clubs. Damn it. Y'all remember VH1 used to have a show where it was like the starter wives or the women who were with these men before they really blew up? Because I want to say Tamika Foster was on there. Y'all remember R. Kelly's wife was on one before? Drea Kelly. Y'all, somebody in the comments, let me know what the name of that show was. Was Marietta on one of those before? I can't recall. But nonetheless, baby, they talked about Marietta so much on this episode, I was surprised that she didn't have a cameo. Now, back to Neo and these threesomes. Again, circling back to her mentioning that, I think it's hilarious because we see Neo right now in these streets. And he be with every other kind of woman. I promise you, every time you turn around, Neo is skinning and grinning with a new woman. He just out in these streets at this big age that he is. But I digress. So, Gaucher ends up inviting Crystal to her party that she's throwing. Baby girl's about to be launching some new products, and she wants all the girls to come. I think she said something about some bikinis and furs. What was it? Black Aspen. That was her thing for the party. Now, we move on to meet Princess, you guys. I'm kind of confused on how Princess even got casted on this show. And the only reason why I'm a little confused about it is because everybody else has already previously been on a reality show, and she was just a producer on one. And this is no diss to her at all, but it's just interesting because everybody else is familiar faces. Malaysia, Basketball Wives. Tamika Foster, we know that she was with Usher, and I believe that she was on one of those starter wives shows that I was talking about. Who else is there? Crystal. Crystal was on a show called The Platinum Life, and it was about like rappers and their girlfriends and wives. I think that show aired on E! Who else is on this show? And even like Gaucher, like she may not have been a main cast member, but we've seen her on TV before. But when it comes to Princess, she's been working behind the scenes this whole time. So let's just get into her story, y'all. So we learned that her family owns a dental practice, aka her husband is a dentist and has his own practice. I don't know why she said that as if it was a flex, as if she like works there as well. Like, you have nothing to do with the dentist industry, girl. What are you talking about? But nonetheless, I get it. It's a family practice. So we know that she's actually a development producer. She used to work on Real Housewives of Atlanta. We see that she's going to meet up with Tamika Foster. or should I say Tamika Foster Raymond. I did not know that she was still holding on to that last name Raymond. I really did not. But nonetheless, the ladies meet up at this surgeon office, right? Now, we learned a little bit more about Princess, and that was the fact that in 2015, she went and got a breast reduction, right? However, when she woke up, she had no breast. She said that she had something called bilateral necrosis, and she has had 11 procedures since. 11. That's a lot. So Tamika opens up about her own story about getting plastic surgery. She said that she almost died because she went to Brazil to get liposuction and a breast reduction. She went too soon after having a baby, and she went into cardiac arrest. When I tell y'all, ladies, we got to get off these tables. We have got to get off these tables and just accept our bodies for what they are. Because it is such a high risk that you could pass away. And I feel like because it's so common now to get plastic surgery, anybody can get it, anybody can do it, that people are underestimating that this is actually something that can possibly keep you from staying on this earth. But nonetheless, Princess, we learned that she is going to be getting fillers in her nipples. Now, that kind of threw me off because I wasn't sure what she was getting. Now, according to Tamika, though, she's like, but isn't this kind of like you're getting this for vanity reasons? And I feel like two things can be true. Tamika, you're viewing this as, girl, you should be happy that you are alive and well. Are breasts really that important, especially at this big age? No, because you don't plan on having children. Like, I'm sorry, but old girl is past having children age. She got to be in her 40s. Stop playing. So, I don't think that she's planning on having any children right now. So, coming from that perspective, I get it. Tamika's right. You don't really have to have breasts. You already have a husband. He got to accept you for who you are, how you've changed, and he seems to love you very dearly. However, when it comes to her own feelings about herself, Princess feels like, this is a part of her. She wants to have a womanly figure. So, yes, it is a vanity, but also at the same time, she still wants to feel good about herself, and Princess wants to still feel like a woman. And in that moment, you guys, that's when I realized that Tamika says what's on her mind. She don't really care how people feel about it. She's going to say it. And Princess, I feel like in that moment, she was questioning like, damn, should I have even brought Tamika here? Because that's not the response that I wanted to receive. But let's go ahead and move on. Now we have Goshay. She's meeting up with Malaysia. And of course, like I said, we all know her from Basketball Wives. They go ziplining or whatever. And Malaysia is talking about how she has only been in Atlanta for 8 months. And now she has to get the kids acclimated or whatever. I'm sorry, but Malaysia is feeding us BS already. Because can we be honest? Malaysia has been in Atlanta for a solid 5-6 years now. She would only fly back to LA to shoot Basketball Wives and then go back home to Atlanta. Could y'all remember that one season of Basketball Wives where she was buying a house in Atlanta? She had her kids set up there. Am I tripping? I don't feel like I am. I really feel like Malaysia has been in Atlanta for a while now, but she about to try to play in our face. I get it. And also, girl, your kids have been in Atlanta the whole time. Because y'all remember she used to have to fight with her ex-husband because he had custody of him or something like that, and they was living in Atlanta. I'm confused. But nonetheless, according to her, she had a traumatic experience. She feel like she was an abused baby mama, whatever that meant. And according to Malaysia, she felt like she was always being criticized on Basketball Wives. Now, do I feel like she was always being criticized by the other women? No. Because by the time we got to the last 5 years, the girls were accepting of Malaysia. They just wasn't cool with her homegirl. Last time that I checked. Now, were there some people who stepping on your neck? For sure. But that's just how the game goes. That's what your show was about. But nonetheless, Goshe ends up inviting her to the party. Y'all, I feel like Malaysia, I don't know. I don't know if she gonna bring it on this show. I hope that she does a lot more than what she gave on Basketball Wives. Alright, so the next thing that we see is Tamika. She is going to go look at a house. Now, the house, I will say this. It does have good bones. I can agree with that. It definitely needs a renovation. But it looks like it has a lot of potential. Okay? It has a lot of potential. Now, according to her, she says that she's not bougie, but she's established a standard for herself that she's comfortable with. Baby, that's a word. I need to go put that on the wall. I kind of like what she said right there. Okay? Nonetheless, Malaysia shows up, and I'm like, why is Malaysia here? So, according to the show, she's supposed to be into investment properties. Since when? Since when was Malaysia into investment properties? Like, I never knew this part of her. Because all we see her is pop up on social media or whatever. Or she'll pop up on Basketball Wives. And that has never been mentioned. But nonetheless, they basically have a random conversation about the party. Okay, moving on. And we learned that both of these ladies are good friends with Mayetta. Like I said, y'all, Mayetta was brought up so many times. They don't know how to handle Crystal. That's the issue. Because they're friends with Mayetta and they're going to be in the same space as Crystal, they are just not sure how to handle her because they've already, heard what they've heard about this girl. My whole thing is, after tonight's episode, I want y'all to leave Mayetta alone, okay? Keep her name out the drama. Her name shouldn't have even been mentioned on the show. Talk about something else. Because what we're not about to do is carry on with a show talking about somebody who ain't even on the show. Mayetta ain't here. So, we need to go ahead and wrap this on up in this first episode and move on. So, next thing you know, we have Princess. She is looking at furs. Somebody that she know that brought over all these fur jackets. And all of them were a no thank you for me. And I think they were a no thank you for her as well. Now, she can't figure out what to wear to this party. And her husband ends up coming into the room. We learn that they have been together for 23 years and they've been married for 17. However, she said something along the lines like, we don't really exactly know how long we've been married. Girl, did you not file the paperwork or what? Because there has to be some type of document that says the day that you got married. How are we confused? Whatever. So she ends up telling her husband about Tamika coming with her to the appointment, and she felt a way about Tamika's reaction. She starts to get really emotional about this, and honestly, she's self-conscious. Because she has scars and a lot of other things going on, I feel like she is questioning herself, and she don't really need to. She don't need to do any of this, girl. Just wear you a cute outfit. Come out to the party. It's gonna be fine. Now, moving on, you guys, we see Crystal. She is at her restaurant. I think it was called Johnny's Chicken and Waffles. I'm wondering who Johnny is. She did not say. But nonetheless, she says that she didn't even used to cook. However, when she got with Neo, and because of all the backlash, that was her therapy. Cooking was her therapy. And now she's got to the point where she has a restaurant. So she ends up meeting with her best friend, Shad. He just got his nose done. And it took me this entire scene to realize that it was the guy, Shad Santiago. I'm not exactly sure what to call him. Influencer, internet personality, something along those lines. But I know that he's friends with a lot of other socialites. Didn't even recognize him because he has nose done. Nonetheless, we learned that Crystal has been on a few dates with the basketball player. She tells her friend about this party that's supposed to be going down, And Crystal basically says that she does not care about the girls feeling away because at the end of the day, she was not the cause of Neo and Mayetta's breakup. And I can't lie, there was something about the way she was talking in this moment. It let me know that her and Mayetta do not have a good relationship. Even though, you know, there have been so many years that have gone by, the way Crystal was talking, it was definitely giving, I don't mess with Mayetta. I don't care about what's going on with her. At this point, it's all about me. Okay? Whatever happened between Mayetta and Neo, that happened, 15 years ago? We talk about what's happening currently, and it's about what Crystal is going through when it comes to Neo. Now, one thing that I will say, I do understand where she's coming from in that perspective and in that regard, because it has always circled back to be about Mayetta. Okay? When Neo left Mayetta, it was a whole thing. When he got with Crystal, it brought up Mayetta. When he was cheating on Crystal, it was a reminder of that's the same way he used to do Mayetta. Like, yeah, no moment has been for Crystal. Everybody brings it right on back to Mayetta. All right, y'all, let's just go ahead and get to this party, though. So, Gosha is having this party so that way the ladies can try her products, right? Now, I might need to buy a few things because I do like me a good grit. So, I might need to buy her products and give y'all a little review. Should I buy it? Let me know in the comments. Nonetheless, Princess, she was the first one to arrive. And she was going on and on about not wearing a bikini. Girl, we get it. Just wear a cute one piece or just a cute outfit and you're fine. So Crystal shows up. She was not, really participating in the theme. According to her, it was some fur on her heels. That's as far as it was going for her. Now, y'all, when they panned around that room, well, not a room, but around that backyard, I said, who are these paid extras? Because it was such a random group of people there. I was confused. Like, Gosha, who are these people? Now, speaking of Gosha, did y'all see her in that hot pink? I said, okay, girl, look at you. You was not playing about your bikini and your fur. Baby, it is now nighttime, and that is when Malaysia show up. Because, baby, it was dark outside. Her outfit was cute or whatever. So first things first, she decides to pull Crystal to the side and have a conversation about, from her mouth, she wants Crystal to know that she has no issues with her. And then, of course, what does she do? Mention Mayetta. I'm like, you couldn't just go into this saying, hey, girl, how you doing? Let's get drinks. Let's have some fun. Let me learn a little bit more about you. But no, we got to do what? Talk about Mayetta. Now, Crystal, she don't want to talk about Mayetta because according to her, she's like, listen, whatever happened between him and Mayetta, that was before me. They were done before I even got to the situation. So, again, here goes Malaysia. She's like, yeah, it seems like you can't even mention her name. Like, you won't even say her name. And honestly, I can't even knock Crystal for not saying her name because at the end of the day, Mayetta is not on the show. She can't be there to defend herself. So it is a little ridiculous for them to constantly keep bringing up Mayetta. But then I have to remember that Mayetta is a big-time socialite in Atlanta. And like Malaysia said, everybody knows who she is. And of course, she's friends with all of the top, popping people in Atlanta. My only thing, like I said, is the fact that Mayetta is not on the show. Yet you guys are talking about this. Number two, what is Mayetta and Crystal's relationship today? Because this is some bullshit that happened so long ago. Like, have they mended that weirdness or no? And again, with Crystal, I'm the new person coming into this situation. So are you going to get to know me? Or are you just going to hold on to the fact that I dated a man after Mayetta who was your friend? Like, if I'm being completely honest, I would want this to be the last episode that they talk about Mayetta. Because, like I said, she ain't on the show. Now, unless they gonna bring her on the show, then that's fine. But until then, we gonna have to wrap this up. All right, y'all. So let's just go ahead and wrap this on up. Because, first of all, Princess, you're dragging this now. Like, I get it. It's about you. But the fact that you brought up the whole, oh my gosh, I wasn't going to wear a bikini. We know. We know you wasn't going to wear a bikini, girl. You ain't got to keep mentioning it, okay? So, I think she was talking to Malaysia. And she's like, oh yeah, there's like a whole thing or whatever. And I can tell you about it when Tamika gets here. Girl, who's to say that Tamika was even going to show up at this point? Because y'all are far into the party and she still ain't here. I mean, like, I know that she was coming, but just go ahead and tell Malaysia what's going on. Now, baby, in walks Tamika. Y'all, what was that? What was that outfit? It's the fact that she gave us a whole speech about being an image consultant, being a stylist, all those things. And she showed up looking like this. Having the audacity to sit on that couch talking about I'm a gypsy. I didn't know what to wear. You mean to tell me that you worked in the fashion industry all these years? You've worked with the top artists. Like, there is no way possible that you can tell me that if you were getting paid a job and they told you we're thinking black aspen, bikinis and furs, like that was the theme, you would not put an artist in what you had on. There's no way possible you would ever put an artist in what you have on right now. Please, Tamika, get the fashions together because you're supposed to be known for style. That's like your whole thing. Now, don't get me twisted, y'all. There's definitely a lot of people who work in the fashion industry who are stylists and they can't dress themselves, but they can dress other people. There's people who work in the costume design world. Again, they can't dress themselves, but they can absolutely dress other people. And I feel like maybe she might be one of those. She can't dress herself, but with other people, she can do her thing. So nonetheless, now that Tamika is here, Malaysia is gathering up the ladies because now they can hear why Princess couldn't wear a bikini. So she goes on to tell the ladies about how, she doesn't have breasts anymore because of a breast reduction complication and all of these things, right? So they feel bad for her. Well, the group feels bad. Tamika, on the other hand, is like, well, girl, you didn't have to tell the story here. She's like, this is the wrong place, wrong time to be telling your story about how you ain't got no titties no more. And I'm just like, Tamika, just let this girl have her moment, okay? Number one, this is her first time actually being on reality TV, so let her have her moment, okay? You've done this before. And honestly, y'all, I think I like Tamika, but I just don't want her to keep coming off as an old mean lady, okay? Because it is kind of mean that you don't want this girl to have her moment to tell the ladies about what's actually going on with her, especially considering how personal it is to her. So Tamika has peeped that Crystal is at the party, right? So she's talking to Goshay and she's like, I need to go see if, her and Mo are good. Let me go see that right now for her and Mo are good. Because Mo is my dog. And I'm just like, well, how about this? How about you go call Mo and then ask her, you good with Crystal, girl? Because she's a new castmate on this show I'm on. Let's start there. But no, Tamika walked her ass on over there to go see Crystal, and they spoke or whatever, and she, right off the bat, tells her, I'm really tight with Mo. And Crystal's like, oh, okay. Now, this is what got me. Here we go with Malaysia out here playing stupid. Like, oh, didn't you guys just meet? Like, why are you bringing up Mo? Bitch, you did the same thing. Like, I am so confused as to how Malaysia thinks that we did not just watch her say hey to Crystal, pull her to the side, and then talk about how she's friends with Marietta. Did we not just watch that, y'all? So we actually see Goshay and Crystal talking, and Crystal basically feels like Goshay has her back. She still wants her to feel comfortable in her home. All right, cool. All right, y'all. Now here comes Malaysia out here being a flip-flopper like she used to be on Basketball Wives, because she goes to tell Tamika that they need to get to know this girl. Okay, fine. Ooh, also, shout out to Tamika for the name of that show. It was Atlanta Exes. That's the show that her and Mayetta were on together. So nonetheless, there is another person by the name of Princess. This person's name is Dr. Princess, and she's like all into the beauty stuff. She does Botox, she does weight loss, she does Juvederm, she does all the things that the girls are getting nowadays. And here goes the other princess like, oh, I need to get some of that, blah, blah, blah. And she was about to go into her whole story, but Tamika kind of stopped her. Okay? So this is where Princess tells Tamika that, like, you keep saying that what I have going on is vanity, but that hurts my feelings. And even Malaysia's like, yeah, well, you're saying that it's vanity because you still have your boobs. She doesn't. So I'm glad that the ladies are moving on from that. Now, we see Goshay or whatever, and one thing that I noticed, even though she has on like this silvery mesh little thing over her bikini, I said, ooh, baby, you are so telling your age. Because what is the one thing that is standing out to me is that tattoo around her belly button. I said, oh, girl, yeah, you're definitely a woman of a certain age. So moving on from that, Goshay, she ends up introducing her grits and pancake line. She jumps in the pool. That was cool or whatever. But let's get back to the mess. Now, this is where things went a little south for me when it comes to Crystal. So Tamika is like, listen, I understand that, you and Mo, when you guys were initially, introduced or whatever, however it came about, y'all weren't in a good place, right? Initially, y'all were not in a good place. And I understood where Mo was coming from back then because, it's very hurtful to see basically your ex move on. Now, you have Crystal's response being, yeah, but at the end of the day, I had nothing to do with the demise of that relationship, between her and Neo to begin with. So I don't feel like that's something that I should be like, labeled as the person who did this, that, another. Okay, fine. But this is where she lost me because she was like, that was then, but what I'm going through right now, that's some real shit. I said, hold on, baby girl. Because that's making you minimize all the things that Mayetta went through. What you could have said is that, our stories are different. However, in this moment, I'm going through something with this man. So Tamika's response to all of this is what she was trying to tell you. Basically saying like, girl, this is the red flag that Mayetta was trying to point out to you that this man is trifling. But Crystal is so busy worried about no, this is what I'm going through right now. This is our situation. Girl, it's not too far off from what Mayetta said that she could no longer tolerate with that man. The same way that he was cheating on her, he's cheating on you. The same way that he was probably requesting some wild stuff with her, he's probably requesting wild stuff with you. Or matter of fact, he may not even requested it from you. He just went on and did it with somebody else. So Crystal is over here going on and on about how women, they go through so much behind a man and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I get all that, boo. And you absolutely are going through a lot because of Neo and his triflingness. But that does not negate the fact that you are just repeating the next cycle of his bullshit. And Mayetta was the first cycle. You were the second. Baby, this was a whole rinse and repeat. So Tamika, she's like, Oh, you know what? I feel like I'm getting in people's business. I'm gonna go ahead and head out. It was nice meeting you. I'm like, Tamika, what the hell going on? But I honestly feel like because Crystal was not, receptive to what she was saying, that she just go ahead and wrap this right on up because clearly they on two separate pages. Here's the thing also. When Tamika started this conversation and she was like, y'all weren't getting along initially, I was assuming that she was waiting for Crystal to say, yeah, but, now we're cool, we're in a good place, we're cordial with each other. I think that she was waiting on one of those things to be said about Mayetta and Crystal, but that never happened. So it's very clear that Mayetta and Crystal clearly ain't cool. And Tamika is going to ride for her friend Marietta. Because even outside of this show, Marietta's her friend in real life. So she's not about to pretend to be Crystal's friend just because they're on a show together. But y'all, that is where the show left off. Let me know what y'all thought about it. Also, who else would y'all see on a show like this? But yeah, because I have a few people in mind. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Let me know if y'all are Team Tamika or Team Crystal. And I will talk to y'all in my next review. Bye, guys.